the world's biggest tunnel boring machine to an abrupt halt. It's just 1,000 feet into a tunnel that's planned to be almost 10,000 feet long.
China isn't just building one headline project. It's rolling out an ecosystem of mega projects that lock together like gears. From robot factories weaving steel like fabric, to wind farms that float on the ocean, to shipyards the size of cities. While others hesitate, China accelerates, building faster, smarter, and bigger than anyone else, including America.
China, you go there now, roads, bridges, schools, you never saw anything like it. They have bridges that make the George Washington Bridge look like small potatoes. And they're all over the place.
Number 20. Deep Sea. Number 1. China's giant energy fortress beneath the waves. If you sail 150 kilometers off the coast of Hainan Island, you won't just see endless blue water. You'll find one of China's most ambitious engineering feats quietly humming beneath the waves. Deep Sea Number 1 isn't just a gas field. It's a floating fortress of steel and innovation, extracting clean energy from more than 1,500 meters below the surface of the South China Sea. Launched by the China National Offshore Oil Corporation, this project is more than just a technological win. It's a symbol of how far China has come in mastering the ultra-deepwater frontier. Officially operational since 2021, the Deep Sea Number 1 gas field pumps out around 3 billion cubic meters of natural gas annually, enough to meet roughly a quarter of the energy demand in the Guangdong, Hong Kong, Macau Greater Bay Area. That's a lot of homes warmed, lights powered, and factories fueled, all thanks to a massive structure standing strong against some of the ocean's harshest moods. The real star of the show is the platform itself, Shenhai Yihao, the world's first 10,000-ton semi-submersible energy station with condensate storage. Imagine something the size of 2 football fields, just as wide and as tall as a 40-story skyscraper, floating steadily out at sea. Built in Shandong province, this steel giant uses an innovative truss structure, lighter than traditional builds, but trickier to design and balance. Engineers had to calculate every force, every weld, and every weight shift to make sure it wouldn't give in to waves or time. Beneath the deck sits a buoyancy tank and 4 towering pillars that keep the structure stable, even in extreme offshore weather. It's not just an oil and gas platform. It's a fortress built to thrive, where the ocean tries its hardest to push back. And this isn't a short-term play. Phase 1 kicked off in 2021, and Phase 2, set for the latter parts 2025, will boost total output to 4.5 billion cubic meters annually, tapping into estimated reserves of more than 150 billion cubic meters. Projects like this strengthen China's energy security while pushing its offshore technology to new limits. It's a clean energy bridge between the deep sea and some of the country's most dynamic cities, including Hong Kong and Zhuhai. And speaking of bridges, while the deep sea dominates the waters below, China is building marvels that cross the sea too. Number 19. Shenzhen-Zhongshan Link, where bridges meet the sea. There are bridges, and then there's the Shenzhen-Zhongshan Link, a project so ambitious it quite literally dives beneath the waves. Opened in June 2024, this $20 billion megastructure connects Shenzhen and Zhongshan across the Pearl River Delta, slicing travel time from 2 long hours to just 30 breezy minutes. What once felt like a road trip now feels like a walk through one's veranda. At the heart of this engineering marvel is its underwater tunnel, a 6.84 kilometers, 8-lane passage constructed with jaw-dropping speed and precision. How jaw-dropping? The entire world's widest underwater shield tunnel was bored in just 110 days, thanks to Shanhei, a 17-meter-wide tunneling beast of a machine. Think of it as a mechanical earthworm on steroids, carving through the seabed with millimeter-perfect accuracy. Each of the 500-plus pipe rings was slotted together like puzzle pieces to create a watertight, earthquake-resistant tunnel built to shrug off ocean pressure. Engineers didn't just build big, they built smart. Intelligent monitoring systems and Beidou satellite navigation now keep the tunnel under constant watch, ensuring smooth traffic flow and rapid emergency response. And here's where it gets even more interesting. This record-breaking tunnel didn't come at the cost of the environment. Instead of loud, destructive blasting, engineers used precise mechanical rock breaking, protecting the habitat of the endangered Chinese white dolphin. It's a mega project, with a touch of environmental mindfulness. The Shenzhen-Zhongshan Link didn't just set 10 world records. It rewrote the playbook for bridge tunnel infrastructure, a fusion of scale, speed, and precision. This project stands as a symbol of China's determination to push limits and connect its cities like never before. And as impressive as this is, China's ambition doesn't stop there. They're reinventing energy efficiency with HTRPM Pebble-bed nuclear. Number 18. HTRPM Pebble-bed nuclear, reinventing the reactor at Xiongan. Nuclear power isn't exactly a new story, but what's happening at Xiongan in China is rewriting the narrative. Here, on the northeastern coast of Shandong province, stands the high-temperature reactor. Pebble-bed modules, the world's first fourth-generation Pebble-bed nuclear reactor to go commercial. Instead of relying on massive, water-cooled giants of the past, this sleek modular system is small, smart, and surprisingly flexible. At its core, the Xiongan 1 unit uses helium as a coolant, graphite as a moderator, and tiny fuel pebbles coated in protective layers of carbon and silicon carbide. This design isn't just about power, it's about safety. In emergencies, the reactor can cool itself down naturally without external systems. No frantic button pressing, no massive water tanks, just physics doing its job. And here's where it gets clever. The plant doesn't only generate electricity, it also produces high-temperature steam, which now heats almost 2,000 households, replacing thousands of tons of coal every winter and slashing carbon dioxide emissions by 6,700 tons. That's clean energy flowing straight from a nuclear plant to people's radiators. The project, connected to the grid in 2021 and fully commercial by December 2023, is a major leap in nuclear innovation. With 2 reactor modules powering a single 210-megawatt steam turbine, it's just the beginning. China plans to scale up with HTRPM 600, a larger version with 6 reactors feeding 1 turbine. By embracing Pebble-bed technology, China isn't just chasing clean energy. It's leading a new nuclear era, safer, smaller, and smarter. And with this, Xiongan isn't just a power plant. It's a glimpse into the future of energy. China isn't just making smart, clean energies without thinking about where to use them. No, they've constructed a city so sleek, so clean, it looks like something out of a sci-fi movie. Number 17. Xiongan New Area, China's city of the future. About 100 kilometers south of Beijing, a city is quietly rising from the ground. But this isn't just another concrete jungle. This is Xiongan New Area, China's bold experiment in building a city of the future. Announced in 2017 by President Xi Jinping, the project is designed not only to relieve the capital's overcrowding, but to reimagine what urban living can look like in the 21st century. Unlike most cities that grow out of chaos and traffic jams, Xiongan is engineered with intention. It boasts a digital twin, a virtual replica of the entire city, that allows real-time management of everything from traffic flow to energy use. Think of it as the city's superbrain, constantly analyzing and optimizing how it breathes, moves, and grows. 25 government agencies now oversee its development, handling sectors like education, healthcare, technology, and industrial growth. The city will also host relocated institutions, including universities and state-owned enterprises, to ease pressure on Beijing, while sparking new economic energy in the wider Beijing-Tianjin-Hebei region. Xiongan isn't just smart, it's also green. Urban construction is limited to 30% of the area. Geothermal energy powers its heating, and ecological zones are woven right into the urban plan. By 2035, it aims to welcome about 5 million residents, living in a city run by AI, powered by renewables, and designed for people, not just cars. Xiongan is China showing the world its blueprint for future cities. And while this city is taking shape on the ground, China's next big leap is happening far above it, in orbit. Number 16. Tiangong Space Station, China's home in orbit. If Xiongan is China's city of the future on Earth, Tiangong is its outpost among the stars. Floating hundreds of kilometers above our planet, Tiangong, meaning Sky Palace, isn't just a satellite, it's China's personal foothold in space. Since Beijing was excluded from the International Space Station program, it decided to build its own, and it did. China's journey to Tiangong hasn't been quick, but it's been steady. It began with Tiangong 1 in 2011 and Tiangong 2 in 2016, 2 experimental stations that quietly laid the groundwork for something much bigger. The real leap came on April 29, 2021, when Tianhe, Harmony of the Heavens, the core module, blasted into orbit. Soon after, cargo ships and crewed missions followed, turning a steel shell into a livable home for astronauts. Today, Tiangong is a 3-module station, Tianhe, Wentian, and Mengtian, completed in 2022. It typically houses 3 astronauts for 6 months, though it can handle 6 during crew swaps. Smaller than the ISS, yes, but packed with cutting-edge tech and ambition. Inside, astronauts conduct experiments in life sciences, material science, and astronomy, paving the way for deeper space missions. Think of it as China's launchpad to the moon, Mars, and beyond. This isn't just a science project, it's a statement, a permanent Chinese presence in space. Number 15. Zhongbei Flexible DC Grid, the Green Superhighway. Imagine a highway, except instead of cars, it carries pure, clean energy. That's basically what the Zhongbei Flexible DC Grid is, a green superhighway that delivers massive amounts of wind power straight into Beijing's hungry power grid. This isn't your average power line. Zhongbei is the world's first meshed 4-station voltage-sourced converter HVDC grid, and it's a technological marvel. Built and operated by the State Grid Corporation of China, the system connects Zhongbei, Kangbao, Fengning, and Beijing in a flexible ring network, like a power-sharing circle for clean energy. Construction began in 2018, and by mid-2020, the network hummed to life in a successful test run. Its mission? To transmit up to 4.5 gigawatts of clean energy and support Beijing's 2022 Winter Olympics with a green power supply. But the real story isn't just the voltage, it's the vision. Zhongbei can deliver around 14.1 terawatt-hours of clean energy annually, cutting 12.8 million tons of carbon dioxide emissions every year. Plus, by pairing with pumped hydro storage, it smooths out the unpredictable nature of wind power, ensuring steady, reliable energy. This grid doesn't just keep the lights on, it powers a cleaner future, proving that flexibility can be strength when it comes to renewables. And if you think that's big, wait until you see a hydropower giant roaring in the mountains. Number 14. Baihetan Hydropower Station, the Power Colossus. If Zhongbei is the green superhighway, then Baihetan Hydropower Station is the roaring engine at the heart of China's clean energy revolution. Rising from the Jinsha River, a tributary of the mighty Yangtze, this hydropower giant doesn't just hum, it thunders. With a jaw-dropping capacity of 16 gigawatts, Baihetan is the second largest hydropower station in the world, trailing only the Three Gorges Dam. To put that into perspective, it can power tens of millions of homes, a small country's worth of electricity, generated by one colossal dam. The dam itself is nearly 300 meters high, a concrete wall that stands like a modern Great Wall against the river's flow. But it's not just brute strength. This is a precision-engineered marvel with advanced flood control, silt management, and safety systems designed to last decades. Environmental balance was part of the mission too. Engineers implemented strategies to protect aquatic ecosystems, proving that clean power doesn't have to mean ecological disaster. Strategically, Baihetan is a game-changer. It slashes China's dependence on coal, cutting millions of tons of carbon emissions every year. This is hydropower done at an epic scale, a blend of ambition, engineering, and environmental vision. But China's next hydropower dream is even more ambitious and controversial. Whatever China does, it has a way of bringing everything back down to earth, literally. The ingenuity can be seen in even simple things like bridges. But is anything ever simple when China is involved? Number 13. The Spanning Thrust Arch Bridge. Take the Spanning Thrust Arch Bridge, for example, an elegant, almost poetic engineering solution that connects two shores like a curved steel arrow. The beauty of this design lies not just in its form, but in its strength. An arch bridge works by channeling forces through its curve, pushing down and out, so the load is transferred cleanly into its supports. Every piece of steel and concrete locks into place like a perfectly tuned orchestra, allowing the structure to bear enormous weight while appearing light and graceful. Modern China has taken this ancient concept, first used by the Romans, and supercharged it. With the Pingnan Third Bridge and the Kaohsiunmen Bridge, China holds world records for some of the largest and most complex arch bridges ever built. Where other countries spend years debating design, China moves from blueprint to bridge at breakneck speed. These bridges aren't just functional highways, they're statements of power. Rising silently over rivers and valleys, they fuse technology with nature, strength with beauty. China doesn't build against the land, it builds with it, shaping steel and concrete to match the landscape instead of erasing it. But connecting two sides isn't just about bridges, it's about keeping those sides from crumbling, and that's where China's mountain walls come in. Number 12. Steel rebar work. If bridges and skyscrapers are the muscles of a nation, then steel rebar is their skeleton. Silent, hidden, but absolutely essential. Concrete may get all the credit for being solid, but here's the truth. Concrete alone is strong in compression and terrible in tension. Without rebar, every towering bridge or soaring skyscraper would be a fragile giant with weak knees. Rebar, short for reinforcing bar, is made of steel rods designed to give concrete the tensile strength it doesn't naturally have. These rods are cut, bent, and woven into intricate frameworks before a single drop of concrete concrete is poured. Once embedded, steel and concrete act like bone and muscle working together. The concrete resists crushing forces while the steel fights back against stretching and bending. Here's where China rewrites the rules again. While other nations' construction sites still rely on manual tying and placement, China runs automated rebar assembly lines like factory conveyor belts. Machines cut and bend steel bars with perfect precision. Robotic arms tie the mesh, and AI-powered systems map the exact placement in real time. What would take days elsewhere happens in mere hours in China. This level of synchronization isn't just about speed, it's about absolute structural reliability. Every perfectly placed rod means a longer-lasting structure, fewer cracks, and fewer disasters. But even the strongest skeleton needs muscle, and in China, they've forged the right muscles that solve a lot of problems. Number 11. Sacer and concrete megastructures. In the world of megaprojects, concrete isn't just a building material, it's the silent muscle that holds nations together. China, in particular, treats it like an orchestra conductor treats sound, with precision, ambition, and scale that borders on staggering. We're talking about projects where millions of cubic meters of concrete are poured in weeks, not years. What might take other countries half a decade can happen in a single construction session in China. A big part of this momentum comes from strategic collaborations. Take Sacer, a Spanish giant known for its engineering finesse. Their role in major international projects, like the expansion of the Panama Canal, shows how concrete can become a bridge between nations, not just between shores. That expansion alone used over 4 million cubic meters of concrete and redefined global shipping routes. Now imagine that scale multiplied many times across China's bullet train lines, megadams, and colossal bridges. Each pour, each beam, is part of an intricate line between local speed and global expertise. European firms bring precision. Chinese crews bring sheer power and pace. Together, they're rewriting how fast the world can build. Number 10. Solar panel cleaning. A solar farm might look peaceful, endless rows of panels glinting under the sun like mirrors on a quiet lake. But behind that shine is a battle against one stubborn enemy, dust. Even a thin film of it can slash energy output by up to 30%, turning a billion-dollar solar project into an underperforming field of glass. That's why in China, where some of the largest solar farms on Earth stretch for kilometers across deserts and plateaus, cleaning isn't just maintenance, it's strategy. Instead of relying on slow, labor-heavy crews, China deploys robotic cleaning systems that glide across the panels like silent sentinels. These bots use soft brushes, pressurized air, or waterless wiping technology, scrubbing away dust without scratching the surface, and they move fast. What might take human workers days can be done overnight, keeping the panels at peak efficiency. Integrated sensors detect soiling levels and schedule cleanings automatically, turning what used to be a manual task into a seamless, AI-driven operation. This isn't just about keeping things shiny. It's about squeezing every last watt of power from the sun. The cleaner the panels, the more power flows into China's renewable grid, feeding homes, factories, and yes, those massive tunnels carved through mountains. In a world racing toward energy independence, China is proving that even the smallest details can power a revolution. Number 9. Viaduct by Holbeck. When most countries talk about infrastructure, they start with blueprints, committees, and years of red tape. China, they start with prefabrication yards and launch beams. That's why bridges and viaducts rise here not in decades, but in months. Take the Holbeck Viaduct project as a shining example. Spanning 2,400 meters with a width of 8.6 meters, this structure isn't just an engineering marvel. It's a statement of precision, durability, and vision. Designed to seamlessly blend function with form, the viaduct not only connects distant points but also overcomes challenging terrain with elegance and efficiency. Its construction reflects cutting-edge techniques, ensuring stability, reduced maintenance, and long-term resilience. In many ways, the Holbeck Viaduct embodies how infrastructure can elevate connectivity while showcasing architectural brilliance. Instead of building everything piece by piece on site, 979 modular segments were prefabricated nearby, each designed to fit perfectly like puzzle pieces. Enter the 600-ton launch beam, a colossal steel arm that slides these segments into place with surgical precision. No endless scaffolding, no years lost to logistical chaos. Segment by segment, the viaduct stretches forward like a concrete caterpillar climbing into the sky. And while most nations often spend years just approving infrastructure projects, China's modular system cuts down both time and cost, leaving bureaucratic lag far behind. Prefabrication ensures quality control, while the launch beam eliminates the need for heavy manual assembly, boosting both efficiency and safety. It's not just a bridge, it's a statement. Speed doesn't have to mean sloppy. It can mean smart engineering, tight planning, and flawless execution. The sky itself isn't off limits, as China's now also turning wind into gold offshore. Number 8. Windfloat Atlantic and offshore wind. Far off the coast of Viana do Castelo, Portugal, something remarkable floats on the Atlantic. Not a ship, not an oil rig, but a floating wind farm, Windfloat Atlantic. With its 25 megawatts capacity and sleek semi-submersible platforms, it's the first of its kind in mainland Europe, showing the world that offshore wind doesn't have to be anchored to the seafloor to be powerful. But here's where it gets interesting. While Portugal hosts the project, China is leading the charge in floating wind technology. China's offshore wind farms stretch across its coastline like a necklace of steel and energy, and it's now exporting its expertise abroad. Through advanced platform designs, cost-efficient construction, and a well-oiled supply chain, China isn't just building at home, it's quietly building the future in other countries' waters too. The Windfloat Atlantic project, developed by the WindPlus Consortium and backed by European and Japanese investors, uses floating platforms that can be towed to deeper waters where winds are stronger and more consistent. This flexibility is exactly the kind of approach China has mastered at scale. Offshore wind is no longer a local energy solution. It's a global strategy. China's involvement in floating wind tech isn't about competition alone. It's about setting the pace for a new era of renewable power. Number 7. Konecranes and lifting tech. When a container ship the size of a small town slides into a port, something colossal needs to greet it. Not a forklift, not a truck, but a giant gantry crane, the muscle behind global trade. These towering machines can hoist hundreds of tons in a single lift, dancing with containers like a ballet of steel and precision. Konecranes and similar lifting technologies are the backbone of ports, shipyards, and massive factories worldwide. Their role isn't just about brute strength, it's about speed, safety, and coordination. Automated control systems guide these cranes to pick, stack, and move cargo with surgical accuracy, cutting down unloading times from days to hours. Nowhere is this mastery more visible than in China's megaports, especially Shanghai, one of the busiest in the world. China's gantry cranes are the largest on the planet, capable of lifting loads so heavy they'd make older cranes groan in protest. And they're not just big, they're smart. With AI-assisted control systems, they can synchronize multiple cranes to work in perfect harmony, moving containers like puzzle pieces on a global board. This isn't just an industrial show of strength, it's a quiet revolution in how the world moves its goods. Faster, cleaner, and more efficiently. Number 6. Axpo and Limern Pumped Hydro Project. When the lights of a city blaze to life at peak hour, somewhere far away, silent reservoirs are already preparing to meet the surge. That's the magic of pumped hydro storage, a technology that turns still water into unstoppable energy. The Axpo and Limern Pumped Hydro projects work like a massive natural battery. When energy is cheap and abundant, often at night or when the wind and sun are in overdrive, water is pumped uphill from a lower reservoir to a higher one. Then, when demand spikes, that same water thunders back down through turbines, spinning generators, and lighting up entire regions. This simple yet brilliant system allows countries like Switzerland to stabilize their grids with precision. But China has taken it to another level. As the world's leader in renewable expansion, China is building the largest fleet of pumped hydro projects on Earth, ensuring that when the wind calms or clouds cover the sun, the grid doesn't flinch. Unlike batteries that degrade over time, pumped hydro can last for decades, delivering clean power again and again. It's the quiet backbone behind flashy solar panels and spinning turbines, a reminder that the future of energy isn't just about generation, but smart storage. Another secret China has revealed to the ever-watchful world is that even stored water can become unstoppable power if you build the turbines right. Number 5. Hydroelectric turbine production. Forging a hydroelectric turbine is like building a steel heart, one powerful enough to turn the unstoppable rush of a river into clean, endless energy. It all begins in roaring foundries where giant steel blocks, specially alloyed for strength and endurance, are melted down and poured into massive molds. After a careful and patient cooling process, what was once a glowing block of metal begins its transformation into one of the most important machines on Earth. Next comes precision. Colossal multi-axis CNC milling machines carve the steel with millimeter-perfect accuracy, sculpting elegant turbine blades designed to slice through water like butter. Their aerodynamic curves are no accident. They're engineered to endure crushing pressure while maximizing energy conversion. This isn't your average workshop. It's where craftsmanship meets cutting-edge tech. And then, testing. Every weld, curve, and blade angle is inspected, scanned, and measured. Non-destructive ultrasonic tests search for hidden flaws, ensuring these giants can run for decades without faltering. China, home to the Three Gorges Dam, leads the world in this arena. While the United States' hydro capacity lags far behind, China continues to expand, crafting turbines the size of houses to keep its grid humming with renewable power. Hydroelectric turbines may be born in fire and forged in steel, but their true strength flows from rivers and from human ingenuity. Number 4. Helicopter production. This is how giants of the sky are born, not with a single spark, but through thousands of precise engineering steps. It starts with ultra-durable metal alloys being forged and shaped under massive hydraulic presses. Every curve of the fuselage, every joint, must endure both gravity and turbulence. Once the body takes shape, the real magic begins. Enter the engine and transmission system, the beating heart of a helicopter. Thousands of meticulously machined parts come together to create a machine capable of lifting off vertically, hovering mid-air, and landing in spaces where jets wouldn't even dare to approach. But the crown jewel of this process is the rotor. Those long, elegant blades must be perfectly balanced, a millimeter off, and the entire aircraft can shake itself apart. After assembly, each helicopter undergoes rigorous flight testing, where pilots and engineers push it to the edge of performance. Only when it conquers vibration, turbulence, and stability tests does it earn its wings. Today, China's booming aerospace sector is producing helicopters not just for defense, but for commercial and rescue operations. The newest unveiled helicopter is the Z-20T assault helicopter. The nation has a rapidly growing and increasingly advanced fleet of aircraft, including its advanced J-20 and J-35 stealth fighters, various multi-role fighters like the J-15, large transport planes such as the Y-20, a range of commercial aircraft including the Comac C-919, and the development of next-generation stealth fighters and unmanned combat aircraft. From supply runs on offshore rigs to military reconnaissance, these machines are proving indispensable. What began centuries ago as inspiration from a maple seed twirling in the wind has evolved into a symbol of precision engineering and aerial dominance. But to truly dominate the skies, you need the heart of the beast, the jet engine. Number 3. Turbojet engine production. If helicopters are the giants of the sky, then turbojet engines are their beating hearts, pure power wrapped in layers of precision engineering. The process begins in fiery foundries where nickel-based superalloys are melted down, their glowing liquid forms poured into carefully designed molds. These alloys are no ordinary metals. They're engineered to survive the kind of heat that would melt most materials in seconds. Once cooled, the metal is forged into massive compressor discs, the backbone of the engine. But the real artistry lies in the blades. Micron-level machining ensures each turbine blade is not just identical, but aerodynamically perfect. Even a hairline imperfection can lead to catastrophic failure at 10,000 revolutions per minute. These blades must endure temperatures that push past 1,500 degrees Celsius, so coatings and heat treatments are applied like armor. Next comes the combustion chamber, a precision-engineered furnace where air is compressed, ignited, and blasted out the back to produce jaw-dropping thrust. When fully assembled, the engine moves to the test stand, where it's pushed to its absolute limits, roaring like a contained thunderstorm. For years, the United States and a handful of manufacturers dominated this field. But now, China's CJ-1000A program and rapid industrial expansion are changing the game, building engines that could soon power the skies on its own terms. It's not just engineering, it's national ambition forged in steel and flame. But while engines lift aircraft, cranes lift empires. Number 2. Giant crane production. They don't fly, but they move mountains of steel. Giant cranes are the quiet titans behind modern skylines and megaprojects. Their birth begins not in the sky, but on the factory floor, where high-strength steel is forged and pressed into massive beams. Every curve, joint, and weld is planned down to the last millimeter, because these machines will someday lift weights that defy belief. Once the skeleton is formed, hydraulic systems and engines are installed with surgical precision. These are the heart and muscles of the crane, controlling every smooth, deliberate movement. The mechanical arms, designed to endure incredible stress, are tested to ensure they won't bend even when hauling loads heavier than a blue whale. The assembly phase is like a giant steel jigsaw puzzle. The tower, boom, and counterweights lock together to balance brute strength with graceful stability. Before any crane leaves the factory, it undergoes brutal load testing and electronic calibration to ensure it can handle real-world extremes. And here's the kicker. China doesn't just build these cranes for itself. It's the world's top exporter of heavy machinery, supplying ports, shipyards, and megacities from Africa to Europe. From the XCMG XGC 88000s, the world's strongest crawler crane, to the XCA 2600s, a mobile giant that can hoist turbine parts sky-high, China's crane fleet is pure muscle and precision. At ports, ZPMC cranes silently rule global trade, while Zoomlion and Sany power the wind revolution. These mega machines aren't just tools. They're engines of ambition, turning steel and cables into skylines, energy hubs, and mega projects that reshape the world's horizons. From Shanghai's shipyards to bridges rising across continents, these steel beasts are everywhere. These aren't just machines, they're empire builders. Number 1. Giant dump truck production. They rumble across minefields and construction sites like rolling fortresses of steel. Giant dump trucks aren't just vehicles, they're the lifeblood of mega projects, hauling mountains of earth and rock with ease. Their creation starts with heavy-duty steel plates, bent and pressed into a rugged chassis designed to survive brutal conditions. This skeleton must be both unshakably strong and perfectly balanced, because when these beasts move, they move with hundreds of tons on their backs. Next comes the heart of the machine, massive engines capable of delivering thousands of horsepower, paired with powerful hydraulic systems that let the truck tip its colossal load like it's nothing. Then there are the wheels, each one the size of a small car, engineered to crush rough terrain without breaking a sweat. Assembly is only half the story. These trucks undergo grueling load tests, climbing steep gradients, rolling through mud pits, and enduring stress checks that would snap ordinary machines in half. Only when they pass every trial are they cleared to hit the world's largest construction and mining sites. China's mega infrastructure boom has turned these trucks into a symbol of industrial might. The XCMG XDE 440 thunders across the earth like a steel titan, hauling over 400 tons in a single breath. Longer than a house and stronger than a locomotive, this dump truck isn't just big, it's a monument to power. They work day and night on dams, bridges, highways, and mines, fueling an expansion the world can't ignore. To make things even more interesting, there's a whisper growing louder and louder daily, saying, high in Tibet, the Yarlung Changpo are quietly carving the world's deepest canyon, a dam so massive it could outshine even the Three Gorges, rewriting hydropower history forever. From bridges that defy gravity to engines that pierce the sky, China isn't just building infrastructure, it's building the future, and the world is watching. Every bridge, blade, tunnel, and turbine is part of a single, synchronized machine. From the depths of the sea to the stars above, China's projects paint a clear picture, and it's bigger than blueprints and ambition. These aren't just mega projects, they're mega messages. And if the world doesn't catch up, China won't just lead the future, it'll own it. Drop your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching. See you in our next video.